Welcome to Innovative Driven's video series, Beyond the Google Search, where our world-class consultants answer this week's most Googled questions about information management.
All right, today's first question, what occurs during document review? All right, document review is the process by which we assemble materials that are potentially relevant and try to separate out what is relevant from what's not relevant in order to meet a production obligation, that is to produce documents in response to a litigation or regulatory request or other legal request for information. So what occurs is that we take documents, we organize them in a manner where they are placed into a database where you can separate out the image of the document from the metadata and other information about the document. And in this database, or also referred to as a document review platform, you will go in and start looking at documents. Those documents will often be batched together in groups. You can have multiple reviewers in a document review platform at any given time. You can have even up to hundreds of reviewers in a well-designed system, and be going through and looking at documents. The way you sort them, the way you manage them, the way you handle the documents during the review will make a lot of impact in terms of the cost of the review and the time that it takes. But the process of a review is the looking through documents and separating out relevant from not relevant. Question number 2, what is TAR, Technology Assisted Review? TAR is a catch-all term for the use of certain machine learning algorithms that assist with trying to separate out relevant from not relevant materials rather than going document by document, one by one, as we'll refer to that as a linear review. TAR allows us to teach a machine what is relevant or what we think is relevant, and give me more of these, and what is not relevant and give me less of these. And over time, you are able to separate out more easily the relevant from the not relevant, and thus reducing the overall cost and time of review. There are two forms of TAR, two commonly used forms of TAR. We often refer to them as TAR 1 or 1.0, TAR 2 or TAR 2.0. And the first one is an older form, the original form of TAR, that is a little more technical in terms of how you review, and using statistical sampling, and the methodology is different than TAR 2. TAR 2 is often referred to as continuous active learning, or a form of active learning, and that is that the machine is learning continuously along the way versus you're trying to train the machine up front in TAR 1. They both have benefits and some drawbacks to them. Some will be used in certain circumstances. TAR 1 is probably going to serve you better, but for the most part, we tend to go with TAR 2. Question number 3, how can I reduce eDiscovery review costs? The first thing to understand about reducing eDiscovery review costs is that the simple formula is the more documents that I put in front of a reviewer to make a determination in terms of relevance or privilege, the higher my costs are. So what my objective is to try to figure out ways in which I can put less documents in front of a human reviewer. So to do that, I have many tools at my disposal. One of the first tools that we use is TAR, which I just previously discussed. So we're going to use TAR often to help us, getting a machine to help us make determinations in terms of potentially relevant, potentially not relevant. If the machine can make better decisions, then I have less to review. So that's a really good way, and TAR is probably the most common way of making a really big dent in terms of the number of documents. But we also have other choices available, and pretty early on in a matter, we can try to determine, for example, what date ranges are going to be applicable in a matter. I don't need to review documents that are outside a particular date range, particularly if the parties have agreed to. For example, we're only going to look at documents between 2016 to the present. Okay, I can get rid of all the documents I might have collected from before 2016. I can make determinations regarding the custodians or the individuals whose materials I'm going to look at. I don't need to look at everybody in the company. I don't need to to collect everything and then put it into review. I can reduce that volume. I might collect more than what I need, but I might be able to start with a smaller number of people and then examine whether I need to add more people along the way. So if I can reduce the number of custodians, that is the individuals whose data we've collected, and reduce the volume of information I'm going to put into review by reducing the number of custodians, then I can save costs. We have other ways of filtering information and looking at it. I think that you really can save money by kind of examining the data set, looking at what your options are for that particular data set and what you're trying to achieve, and make some good choices. Professionals will help you along the way.